Sooner or later in the course of a relationship there comes that period which is labeled by the term breakup. At this point nothing good happens, the atmosphere is often tense, and the relationship with the partner begins to be clarified. Usually the breakup process is initiated by one of the partners, be it a man or a woman. In most cases, it is the women who tend to complicate the situation, often pushing the relationship to a conclusion. Sometimes, they even prefer the breakup to happen. The woman tends to find the cause, the fault, precisely in you. Even a minor event that you may have long forgotten can be the catalyst for the problem. For example, you may have accidentally said something unfortunate a few years ago, and although you don't remember it, at the time of the breakup she may remember and use it against you, accusing you of bad behavior. It's sometimes surprising how different memory differs from woman to woman, especially in how well they can remember anything negative. Unlike men, who usually tend to forget the bad things throughout a relationship when a woman treats them well. I would recommend that some men keep a diary of sorts where they write down all the negative things that happen on the woman's part. This can be done by giving the number, date, and a brief description of what happened. Such diary keeping will help to keep the memories clear. If this is not done, you may forget many negative situations over time. Surprisingly, women can remember a lot of negativity without such entries, which can be helpful when they need to make excuses. You may have tried your best at everything, been a great man, a caring father and partner, but several circumstances may have contributed to the breakup of the relationship. Despite your quality behavior, if she has made the decision to break up, she will create situations to bring it about. She may force you to show emotion, provoke conflict so that she can then blame you for negative traits and say that it is impossible to be with you. This is standard behavior for many women in breakup situations where they seek to quickly cut you out of their lives. If she gets a new man, she transfers her emotions onto him, starting to contemplate the end of the current relationship. This guy himself may not even be aware that she is in a relationship. Your actions could reveal the truth, and she could end up without both of them, either him or you. I think that would be a fair response. Somehow this happened in my life. I had been dating a girl for about 4 months, and suddenly her behavior became strange. She stopped expressing nice words in my direction, and in general something went wrong. It didn't really surprise me at first, but when I smelled a different perfume on her, it got me thinking. It may seem strange, but at some point I decided to follow her, given the small size of our town. And it turns out my suspicions were well-founded. I saw her meeting another guy, holding her hand and smiling. This guy was familiar to me, and it wasn't too hard to contact him. At first, I even considered picking a fight with him and dumping her. However, then I came to the conclusion that such a punishment was pointless and not worth my dignity. I did something different. I contacted that guy, told him the story, which he was shocked about, because he had already been dating her for over a month, and she had been dating me for 4. We decided to teach her a lesson together, make her suffer and sob. Now, of course, I wouldn't do that, but I was younger then, and my emotions were running high. Our task was to make one of us ask her out on a date, and the other one to show up abruptly after a while. It was already more like a game than revenge, and it was just funny and interesting for us to see the reaction of the betrayed girl. I'll never forget that day, because I went out with her, and I was filled with emotions, adrenaline, and a good feeling that today she would get what she deserved. We were walking through the park and then he appeared. She first, when she saw him from afar, started to move away, covering her head with her hood. Next she just told me she wanted to turn the other way, like turn around and walk away abruptly because she saw the other guy from afar. But I stood my ground, and we ended up catching her both off guard. I saw fear and shame on her face. I couldn't deal with the situation for a long time, and I didn't want to torment her, because it was obvious that she was terrified and ashamed. I just said goodbye and walked away. The other guy did the same. As a result, she was left alone. Tried to call and text and I ignored for a while, but then did respond. asked her to avoid similar mistakes in the future. I'm sure this story must have taught her something, otherwise her fate could be sad. Now, 8 years after the incident, she has 2 children, but she is left without a husband who left her. Apparently, something went wrong or he turned out to be an unsuccessful partner. Either way, I will not forget that day, but on the other hand, I realize that it is important to leave a relationship with dignity, even if it causes fear. If your relationship with a woman becomes toxic and she oversteps her boundaries, leave with dignity, without showing that you are deeply hurt by it, and without humiliating yourself in front of her. If she expresses a desire to leave, it means she doesn't need you anymore. Why be with someone who doesn't see their future with you? If you realize that you are heading for a breakup, it is better to end the relationship first, preserving your male honor in this situation. Even if you have been humiliated during the relationship, the most important thing is to end the relationship. If you leave first, you can leave some dignity behind by letting her know that you no longer want to participate in this game called relationship. Many men today feel that they don't get respect from women, they become like slaves working for a woman's acceptance. Many are afraid that if they stop investing, she will leave. However, if you succumb to this mechanism where you have to pay for love, you will become a slave to your own feelings. The best relationships occur when a woman fully accepts you for who you are, without any masks or pretense. This is rare, as it often takes a special reason to fall in love with someone. Many people start a relationship with deception, where the man presents himself as successful, promising, and the woman as caring and kind. A game begins, but over time these lies ruin everything. The world of relationships is often saturated with untruths and deception, which ultimately leads to destruction. When it comes to when to end a relationship, for a man it happens when a woman violates his boundaries and disrespects his needs against his requests. In such cases, a man is worthy of leaving without resorting to yelling or violence, but simply moving on because he values his time and does not want to stay in a relationship that brings pain. The meaning of life is to pursue happiness and live life to the fullest. However, to live in the illusion of happiness in a relationship with a man who is unable to provide it to you is to deceive yourself. If you have realized that a woman is not right for you, it is best to make the decision to leave. You should not hope that over time she will change and become the person you see her as in your dreams. Women, especially adults, rarely change. On the contrary, they expect more and more from us. While they may receive love, care, support, and respect, they still feel like it's not enough. It's important to learn how to leave a relationship without allowing yourself to be victimized, and don't wait for a woman to leave you when your self-esteem is already damaged and you become a shadow of your past self. Walk away with dignity. Thank you for your attention.